my friends over here and distinguished panelists. At the outset, I thank Tata Institute of Social Sciences. A small correction or addition you may say in the introduction. It's not that I'm proud to tell about it, but just to highlight it so that it becomes a benchmark for others to follow. Sulzer Pumps, a company which I am heading as an internal engineering leader since the year 1982, has been paying, apart from handsome salaries and without engaging a single soul on contract labor or contract basis, has been paying 6-digit bonus figures consecutive last 6 years, which itself is a record, at least in India. There is a quote in Bible which says, "By the fruits you will recognize them." Do people pick grapes from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? Likewise, the prevailing conditions as far as labor in India is concerned, if you have a cursory glance at it, you will immediately come to know what has been happening all through after this LPG era. We specifically call it LPG, liquefied petroleum gas, and for us it is liberalization, privatization and globalization, so explosive, so devastating in itself. If I have to make a small reference for why these things have derogated to such an extent, there are only, if I have to bring out two factors, these are, one is contract labor and the other is outsourcing. We have stopped calling laborers as contract laborers long back. We call them slaves. It's a new form of untouchability, kind of apartheid you had in South Africa, South America. That is the case in India, where a major chunk of the people, 90% or more than that of the labor force, has been pushed out of the periphery of progress, and that's what we call untouchability. There are two types of raw materials as far as industries in India are concerned: living and non-living. Raw material and living, workers nowadays have been reduced to a commodity which can be dispensed with, which can be exploited to the ultimate extent. You may find multinationals, Toyota, General Motors, take case of any other corporates in various other fields. You may feel they are somewhere competing with each other. No, they do not do that. If at all they do it, it is within a narrow spectrum. But as far as, because they have, we call it coalition of connected people. They all come together, industrialists, politicians, bureaucrats. They have forged a strong unity, which you people, it is a very subtle unity. You may not find them raising flags or slogans, but most effective. They have devised it in such a fashion that as far as worker salaries are concerned, there is no limit put. Marketing expenses are concerned, there is no limit put. You can go to any extent, you can go to any ways to exploit or expand your market. But as far as competition is concerned, it is restricted within certain narrow frame. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for them to continually, perennially run their businesses and also to create entry barriers for other businesses. It may be referred in international parlance as labor arbitrage or something like that. There is also another phenomenon of flat world. Now no more workers' salaries in America or elsewhere in Europe are very high. We used to have 10-fold, 15-fold salaries compared to Indian continent. But now that is also reducing. So a level playing field is also being created by this coalition of connected people. In India, we talk about social engineering, social upward mobility and whatnot, inclusive growth. You have been hearing about it through press, print and electronic media, but in practice it doesn't exist. Contract labor. We have launched a crusade against it, but unfortunately, let me tell you openly and frankly, candidly, we have not been very successful on that count. We might have signed good settlement except for Sulzer or few companies in my fold, our fold. We have not succeeded solely because, as I have already told you, the coalition of connected exists. Judiciary, they are your bureaucrats, political system, law enforcement agencies, they are all hand in gloves. So wherever we agitate, the experiences we have are extremely bitter and it leaves no hope for us and for the labor in India. Democracy as such, because our democracy has been only reduced to voting rights, and capitalists, as you know, can easily hijack democracy and our voting rights, they can be easily bought. So we have realized over a long period of time, after agitating for more than 2-3 decades, we came to know, it was a strong realization, rather revelation to us, that it's not enough. We have to go beyond, otherwise nothing, no stone will move in the direction we want it. So we decided ultimately, because the political scenario is not, it is absolutely hopeless in India. We cannot with hope look upon any political party. Unfortunately, to some extent left parties could be giving us a glimpse of hope, but not fully. We have been fighting tooth and nail about nuclear proliferation policy, but unfortunately we have failed in spite of having enough MPs in the Indian Parliament. We have not been able to deal with this menace of contract labor and outsourcing. We have been shattered labor workforce. Earlier what used to happen, hundreds and thousands of workers used to work under one roof, and that roof now has been broken into pieces. Things have been outsourced for what? What do they gain? Ultimately, I have seen these mega corporates, they in fact suffer from logistics because of this ultimate fragmentation, but still they go for outsourcing, solely because contract labor and outsourcing gives them opportunity to exploit workers at the extreme end. We have been saying, we have been propagating that we are not against contract labor per se. If you want to bring contract labor system, draw a parallel from what is prevalent in European countries and in American continent. You don't do that. We have all westernized patterns, be it production systems, information systems, infrastructure and whatnot. But then, as far as contract labor is concerned, we don't bring those laws, those rules, those regulations in India. We only bring what suits best to us. That is, we call flexible ethos. We have ethos, our capitalists have ethos, but they are very flexible one. The way in America you found in the era of Richard Nixon, what has happened in India is now, there are all capitalist men. At that point of time, there are all presidents men. So they have not brought the wage scale, what has been offered to contract laborers elsewhere. We have been having a talk of wage parity for the same kind of work. Why should we we should have wage parity as far as contract labor is concerned? We should have multifold wages for them because of the vulnerability which they have to suffer. So in European countries, we have contract labor which has been paid 2 times, 3 times and even 4 times more than what is being paid to the permanent workmen. So bring that contract labor here. Then who will be pleased to engage contract labor? So these are the basic things we have to bring into this labor field. Now as far as outsourcing concerned, this can be arrested with a simple rule. If we ponder over it, why not have our wages, blue collar wages, linked to the total turnover of the company? Earlier you used to have talk of personal cost, and now that talk has completely vanished in India in the thin air. I was just scrutinizing through Suzuki's turnover. Hardly 1.5% of the turnover has been paid by way of wages to the workmen, and 1.5%, 2.5%. And don't be surprised if these wages go beyond even 1%. So this is the sorry state of affairs. So we have to design a model. We are all intelligent people. I have been requesting and appealing to the people in the human resource field that please apply your mind. You are all brainy people. Devise a model, evolve a model which can give, assure rather, respectable standard of living to the workmen, so that unionism as such will wane away. We should be rendered powerless, or rather we should not be relevant in this new world. So you can design it, but you don't want to design it solely because the income disparities, the kind of blood billionaires in India is rising number of blood billionaires, it is very alarming. If you have a cursory glance at Gini coefficient, you will come to know what disparities we are surmounting in India and America as well. With the time restriction, I take your leave, and I would love to have an interactive session with you. Thank you.